Okay, this is the second presentation in Chapter 5 about relevant costs for the decision maker. And what we'll do is go over product mix, special orders, and opportunity costs at the end. But remember that the most important thing that you got to remember to go over problems in each of these areas, all right, so you can really see the application. It just takes practice. Even if you do the same problem a couple times, I really believe that that's helpful. Okay, but this is just an introduction. So product mix is really about deciding which products and services to offer. Okay, and a retailer's product mix is a specific assortment of vitamins purchased for resale and is a carefully curated management decision. Like you can imagine being a grocery store and deciding how much is going to be meat and the rest of it would be grocery items. What's that mix? Because you can't really have either one of them alone, okay? People expect both. And for a manufacturer, the product mix is the specific assortment of items that will be produced, okay, excluding other products. So just remember that everything that you're doing is a choice. So which ones will you be producing? And a service provider might provide which services to offer and which products may accompany those services. Okay. So the easiest ones are the simple product mix decisions. These are chosen to maximize your contribution margin per unit, which would maximize the company's contribution margin and its operating income. So here we've got, this is right out of your book, this is an illustration of a sales mix, and we intend to sell popsicles, strawberry cones, and ice cream sandwiches. Okay, so, and those are a lot of decisions here. Which products match my company's strategy? Which reflects the market? What do the people in my area like? Which ones will best fit in the cart? Which are easiest to source and will stay fresh longer? So that's a simple one. The next one, though, is what you'll see most often, and that's when you've got a resource constraint. So you've got limitations. We can't sell unlimited amounts of what we think is best. In terms of the mix, we've got maybe only so many hours in a day, so many hours on a machine, so many labor hours. There are constraints on what we can do. So in the short run, managers have to decide how much of each product to make in order to maximize operating income, subject to the constrained resource. So then we would select the products that maximize the contribution margin per unit of the constrained resource. So that is what you need to know. Okay, this piece right here. What we want to do is maximize the contribution margin per unit of the constrained resource. Okay? And here's a nice easy example of it. This is a product mix decision. We've got rider mowers and push mowers. The rider mowers cost $1,000, push mowers $300. Variable cost per unit $625 and $200. And here's our contribution margin. So the contribution margin on a rider is $375. On a push mower, it's $100. The contribution margin ratio or percentage is 37.5%, 33.3%. So what this is 100 divided by 300. Okay, the 375 is 375 divided by 1,000. So if they can sell all that they make, which product should they focus on? Okay, so you want to maximize the production of the item that makes the most contribution margin per unit, which in this case would be the rider mower at $375. Sorry. What if they're constrained to 300 machine hours daily for production, and it takes 1 machine hour to produce a push mower and 5 machine hours to make a rider mower? Okay, so what we want to do is maximize the contribution margin per unit of the constrained resource. So what we'll do is we'll take the contribution margin for each product and then divide it by the constraint. Okay, so it'd be 375 divided by 5. And then what was it? The other one was 300. Oh no, 100. Yeah, 100 divided by 100 divided by 1. Okay, yeah, here's the calculation. So there's our rider mower. We had a contribution margin of $375 divided by 5 hours. This means we're making $75 per machine hour with the rider mowers. Okay, with the push mowers, it's $100. of contribution margin in 1 machine hour, so we get $100 per hour. So it looks like the push mowers are better. Okay, so this at least tells us what the contribution margin per unit of the constraint is. The other thing that you got to look at is demand and see what your customers want. I mean, this might make a great contribution margin, but not that many people want to push their mower around. Okay, so you've got to look at all those things, but this is what the numbers would say, and this is a different concept than the way we used to just look at contribution margin before. Okay, so it's the contribution margin per unit of the constraint. Now, special orders. Special orders are always something that you need to know, and something that happens quite a bit. And these are sales opportunities that companies contemplate in the short term to respond to a customer's special request. They're considered from the perspective of the company selling the product or service. Okay, and they're undertaken in the short run and might be a one-off situation that might become a recurring business. And the thought that always comes to my mind is Walmart. I came from Western New York, and that's big grape country, and we had a small business in a small town that made grape jelly. Okay, and Walmart put an order in there, so that was massive, and they worked, really hard on it, and they got recurring orders out of it. But that's the kind of thing that a special order frequently can turn into. Got to be careful though, because you'll lose all the rest of your business if you do something like that. So here's an example. This is a company that assembles wearable headlamps. Okay, and they've got a selling price of $10. Our unit variable cost is $2.50. The variable non-manufacturing cost is $2.70. So the actual contribution margin is $4.80. Now, they've been approached by a local children's organization called Kids Camps, which offered $8 per unit for 100 headlamps. Okay, now our selling price right now is $10 per unit. Okay, the variable non-manufacturing costs also would drop by $1.70 per unit, because the marketing costs would be saved on the special order. So look at all the things that happened here. Okay, first of all, we've got a reduced selling price. I'm going to write this down, okay? We've got a reduced selling price. Decreased manufacturing costs due to no marketing costs. Okay, that happens all the time because they came to you, so you don't have to have the usual marketing costs that you usually spend on it. You know what I mean? Let's put some bullets here. Okay, so these are classical. That's typically what you'll see. So the organization is not an existing customer. In the past, they haven't been open to special orders. They haven't done it before. Worried about the bottom line, and they're operating under capacity. Okay, so right now, this is a really important statement here. They would have to give up some regular orders in order to take this order. Okay. Oh, no, I'm wrong. Operating, I was thinking it was at capacity, but they have space left. Okay, they've got manufacturing space left, and they're having idle capacity as expected for the next year or two. TWO, huh? That signals there's enough capacity to take on the special order without incurring additional fixed costs to obtain capacity or losing customers that we have right now. Okay, but we've got some room, so it looks like we've got room to do the order. That's one of the first things that you have to check out. So here's our selling price. Would be $8. This is the new one. Our variable manufacturing costs stay the same at $2.50. Variable non-manufacturing costs are $1, so our contribution margin is $4.50. We'd make $450 on the order. Okay, plus we'd be doing it for a local kids camp, so there are other reasons why we might want to do this, okay? Community qualitative reasons that are important. So there are no differential fixed costs. Every penny of contribution margin goes straight to operating income. And they might be a repeat customer, okay, but you'd increase the price. their product, if their product quality and timeliness of delivery meets expectations. Okay, so that's a basic special order one. Make sure you do tons of these problems, as many as you can find, and that you're really clear on it, and it helps to know what to expect in advance. So look to see if there's a change in marketing costs. Okay, how much does the selling price go down? Do we have sufficient capacity to do this? Okay, those are all questions that you need to ask. Okay, one more and we're all set. The last piece here is going to be opportunity cost. And we've got all these different options of how to spend our money. You can compare the quantitative and qualitative factors and narrow the choices down to what's pertinent, and then select only one option going forward. Okay, this is the way decisions are. So the opportunity cost, though, is the costs and benefits of the paths that we don't take. Okay, and the actual opportunity cost is the cost and benefit of the next best opportunity. That's what it is. All right, we didn't choose those options, so we don't get the cost, and it's not recorded anyplace, but it's a factor that we consider in making decisions is what's the next best opportunity. Okay, and the next best opportunity is the opportunity cost. Okay, fixed costs. Let's see how much we want to do here. We've got direct fixed costs. When adding or dropping a product line or anything, we distinguish between fixed costs for the company and then direct fixed costs. Okay, so the word direct is important here. That's what they'll call it. That means it's specific to that product line or that product. So if we get rid of it, the direct fixed costs might go away. Okay, without the direct fixed cost, the given product or product couldn't be made. All right, they're usually avoidable. All right, in other words, they'll go away if we do drop it. So we make the decision to drop a product line or close a business segment. Any direct fixed costs are therefore avoidable and relevant. Okay, an unavoidable cost is not relevant. Okay, but an avoidable one is. Okay. And then another concept here toward the end of the chapter is segment margin. And this provides the economic value that each segment provides to the organization. And so what we do is we only include the allocated fixed cost and the segment margin, and then maybe deduct the rest that aren't particular to a particular business segment in total at the end. Okay, but we can compare segments here and see which one is doing best. And here's an example of direct fixed costs. This company has they sell waffles and t-shirts. Brilliant. We're going to projected results for the year is on the next page, and the management's considering shutting down the t-shirt division because they had a loss of $20,000. And if that division was dropped, all $125 of its direct fixed costs would be avoided. Its remaining fixed costs would be redirected to the waffle division to cover. Okay, so these are called common fixed costs, and those are the ones that stay even if you do drop the division. Okay, they may have been allocated to the division that you're thinking of dropping. So here's the example. Here's waffle and t-shirt, and there's the total. So here's our total sales, less variable costs is a contribution margin, and then we're going to take out direct fixed costs. Okay, so there's our segment margin. Okay, it's a good example of that. Less the common fixed costs for waffle and t-shirt. Okay, gives us operating income or loss. Okay, so we've got direct fixed costs here. So if we got rid of the t-shirt division, these direct fixed costs might go away. Okay, completely. You've got to look at the rest of the assumptions. So the question is, we want to determine whether or not they'd be better off by dropping the t-shirt division. So these are, this is like a consolidated total. This would just be the waffle division, which would be equal to the total company. We'd have sales less variable costs, a contribution margin. The direct fixed costs were $150 from here. Okay. The common fixed costs were $125. Those, now take a look at these. See, these are our common fixed costs. These are the sneaky ones. They don't go away, even though it might have been allocated to the t-shirt division before. Now it's going to be coming out completely out of the waffle division. They aren't eliminated unless you get special information about it. So as it was before, our operating income was $80,000, right? If we drop that division, our operating income becomes $45,000. Okay, and the problem is the two things. We've lost $160,000 of contribution margin. Okay, and we also, now we've got to pick up this $55,000 that was allocated to the t-shirt division. Now it's got to be picked up by waffle. Okay. Alrighty. And there's just a discussion of it. You can take a look at that. And I think that's all I'm going to do. A little bit here on, well, you can look at the rest of it, okay? Oh, I should just do it. Here's common fixed costs, okay? They provide capacity to keep the factory itself in operation. They're shared by everybody. And they'll still be incurred if we drop the segment. So they're not differential costs. Okay, they don't make any difference. They're not relevant in a make, buy, or keep versus drop decision, given that they're for the facility and provide the capacity to operate, and they only become avoidable in a decision to keep or drop an entire outlet or location or go out of business completely. Okay, it's like losing the plant. That's what those common fixed costs are. And here's an example of some direct and common fixed costs. The common fixed costs are like rent or depreciation on the building, insurance, property taxes, support the factory, and provide its idle capacity. Supervisor salaries are often called or reflect a direct fixed cost of the product line. So a supervisor could be eliminated. Okay? And direct fixed costs would include depreciation on equipment that's specific to a product, like sewing machines, aprons, conveyor belts for cookies, just in case you hadn't thought of that. Okay, and then allocated fixed costs, though, this is the part that is always a surprise. The fixed costs incurred at the head office are allocated to branch operations. So here's the head office, okay, this great big building, and it has $150,000 of fixed costs to allocate. So they allocate it to the 3 branches, and then the stores take it. And then the branches take it and allocate it to the stores, which allocate it to the products. Okay, and this includes essential business functions like legal, accounting, marketing, research, and development. Okay, those are allocated fixed costs, and they don't generally go away. Unless you've got more information or a problem, or they can tell you why it would go away. Expect it to stay. So, these are examples of allocated fixed. Since the head office doesn't make sales, such non-manufacturing costs are allocated to the branches. Branch managers have no control over head office costs. They can be reduced by corporate restructuring or layoffs, but they're not avoidable. Okay? They're just there. It's a whole different decision, and only eliminated when the company goes out of business. So allocated fixed costs are just a fact of matter. Okay? So if they close one of the 3 retail outlets that we looked up here, okay, these are the retail outlets. If they close one of those, the question is what happens? Since the $150 in fixed costs were incurred at the head office fixed costs are unchanged. So now we're going to take it and we're going to allocate $75,000 to the 2 remaining branches. Okay? It's going to drive up their share of allocated fixed costs in a significant way. Okay, so we developed, in this chapter, you developed a decision-making framework, identified relevant and irrelevant information. We outlined 4 common types of management decisions within the context of relevant costing. That was the make or buy, special orders, product mix, those decisions, and explain how opportunity costs relate to decision making. It's our next best opportunity. And then we looked at 3 types of fixed costs and how they impact decision making. Okay, you might want to read this one piece right here just for clarity in your own head. I think it would be worthwhile. Okay,